What the Aam Aadmi Party is saying is that they wanted to reserve hospital beds in the national capital only for Delhiites. The Lieutenant Governor stepped in saying absolutely not. The State Health Minister says if they can't reserve beds for Delhiites, then they'll soon be overrun. The opposition thinks this is a complete dereliction of responsibility on the part of the AAP government, which should have prepared much better over the last 3 months. So who's at fault? What's the situation on the ground across the various hospitals? We'll do a deep dive on our show this evening. Here's our lead story.
जब तक कोरोना है दिल्ली में, तब तक दिल्ली के अस्पताल केवल दिल्ली वालों के लिए रिजर्व होने चाहिए।
Delhi for Delhiites, that was the message from Capital's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. The Delhi government had reserved 10,000 beds in the city for treatment of only local COVID patients. The move set off a massive debate. The Uttar Pradesh government slammed the Delhi Chief Minister, saying that the decision was arbitrary. BSP Chief Mayawati too hit out at Arvind Kejriwal, asking the Modi government to intervene.
ये बहुत छोटी मानसिकता है, यह बहुत विभाजनकारी मानसिकता है, या बहुत दिल्ली और उत्तर प्रदेश और हरियाणा और राजस्थान और एक दूसरे के राज्यों के बीच में विवाद पैदा करने वाला बयान है।
जो देश की राजधानी होती है वो सभी देशवासियों की होती है और दिल्ली की आर्थिक स्थिति में एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा उत्तर प्रदेश के लोगों का भी शामिल है। तो इस तरीके से अगर अन्य प्रांतों के लोगों को दिल्ली में इलाज पर पाबंदी लगाई जाएगी तो निश्चित तौर से इसका नुकसान आने वाले समय में दिल्ली सरकार को भी देखने को मिलेगा।
The Delhi High Court sent a notice to the Kejriwal government over a plea that sought to ensure that government and private hospitals do not deny admission to COVID-19 patients. In fact, in 2018, the Delhi High Court had ruled that excluding non-Delhi patients from availing treatment or medical facilities was violative of fundamental rights and infringed on a citizen's right to life. The Delhi government, though, defended its decision. Health Minister Satyendra Jain said that the capital would need 17,000 beds in the next 15 days.
दिल्ली के अंदर कोरोना काफ़ी लेवल पर बढ़ चुका है और आप देख रहे हैं पिछले कुछ दिनों से 1000 से भी ज़्यादा केस प्रतिदिन आ रहे हैं, 1200, 1400, 1500 केसेज आ रहे हैं। तो दिल्ली के लोगों को इलाज कराने के लिए जगह की आवश्यकता है।
But by evening, Delhi LG Anil Baijal had overruled the decision of the Chief Minister. The LG directed the local authorities and departments to ensure that treatment is not denied to any patient on grounds of not being a Delhi resident. With nearly 28,000 cases, Delhi is the third worst hit in the country. And with the viral load continuously surging, is the capital prepared? Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to welcome first, representing the Aam Aadmi Party, Raghav Chaddha. With us representing the Bharatiya Janata Party, we've got GVL Narsimha Rao for a perspective from the Ganga Hospital, against whom the Aam Aadmi Party has filed an FIR. We've got Dr. Ambarish Satwik, a well-respected doctor from Sri Ganga. I want to first go across to Raghav Chaddha. You're alleging that the Lieutenant Governor is acting at the behest of the Bharatiya Janata Party. You've turned this straight off into a political face-off. So let's get into your argument for wanting to hold beds in Delhi just for Delhiwalas. This is the national capital. People come in from everywhere. The whole idea of who is a Delhiwala itself is a very fused idea. Why then does the state government believe that it's okay to hold beds in Delhi just for Delhiites? Raghav Chaddha, we'll start with you.
There are two types of beds and two types of hospitals in Delhi, and let's make that distinction right at the start of this debate. The first set of hospitals are hospitals run by the government of Delhi, and the second set of hospitals are hospitals run by the government of India. The capacities in both these hospitals is identical. Delhi government has 9,500 beds and the government of India has about 9,700 beds. After conducting a referendum of sorts, after seeking suggestions from the people of Delhi, where 7.5 lakh people sent their responses and suggestions, followed by a committee, a report of Dr. Mahesh Verma committee, a decision was taken by the elected government of Delhi that all the beds that are there in the Delhi government run hospital, that is category 1 of hospitals, should be reserved for residents of Delhi, and by residents of Delhi, we mean ordinary residents of Delhi. Delhi is a state where people have migrated from different parts of the country. Anyone who has migrated from any part of the country and lives in Delhi happens to be an ordinary resident of Delhi, and thereby he can avail facilities in the Delhi government-run hospitals. The second set of hospitals, that is category 2, is the central government-run hospitals. Those hospitals are available for anyone, whether he is a Delhiite or a non-Delhiite from any part of the country.
Understood that, but why should hospitals belonging to your state government only be reserved for Delhiites? Let's come straight to brass tacks.
Yes, I'll come to that. Now, the Lieutenant Governor has superseded this decision of the elected government. This decision was taken in mind, keeping in mind the health of the people of Delhi. Tomorrow, if the borders are opened and hospital beds are made available for everybody who does not belong to Delhi, then these 9,600 odd beds that the government of Delhi has created will be filled. And therefore, there will be no vacant bed available for Delhiites. Please understand, when this lockdown was imposed, we were asked to ramp up our public health infrastructure, keeping 3 things in mind: the infection rate of the state, population of the state, as well as the spread of the virus. Keeping these 3 things in mind, we have ramped up our public health infrastructure, and we have come to a point where even if matters go from bad to worse, we will be able to safeguard the health of the people of Delhi. Now, tomorrow, if you overload the system in Delhi by putting load of various states, then I have a feeling it may collapse. Now, will the BJP or the Lieutenant Governor be responsible for tomorrow if, for example, an ordinary Delhiite does not get a bed in
let GVL Narsimha Rao respond to it.
Let me, Rahul Kanwal.
Sir, you've spoken for about 3 minutes. 1 second, sir. You've spoken.
15 seconds. I'll just finish my argument.
Okay, 15. Let's give him 15 seconds.
By give you one simple example. If there is a wildfire that has taken place in Delhi and there is a fire in Lucknow, the fire brigade, firefighters and fire tenders belonging to the government of Delhi will first extinguish the fire that has taken place in Delhi and then subsequently go to Lucknow. This is exactly what is happening in Delhi. The infection rate is so high. The population is getting infected. We have perhaps entered phase 3, that is community transmission, and you are trying to overload the system in Delhi and essentially ensuring that it collapses.
Okay.
I think this is a very unfair order.
GVL Narsimha Rao, they're accusing the Lieutenant Governor of acting in concert with the BJP. They're saying you want to show that Kejriwal is not being able to perform, which is why you want to overload the Delhi medical system so that the system collapses and then you can blame AAP. Respond.
No, I at a time when we are practically every sphere of activity, we are following the principle of one nation, one people. The local government in Delhi is trying to invoke parochialism in Delhi. I think it's grossly it's politics being played out in Delhi, which is very unfortunate because even Aam Aadmi Party has huge ambitions, but this way you cannot really step out of even Delhi. And Lieutenant Governor is the central government's representative. For God's sake, understand Delhi is not a full-fledged state like Haryana or any other state. So therefore, to say LG has no authority is actually completely farcical. He is the chairman of the Delhi Disaster Management Authority. He is the final authority as far as any decision related to disaster management in Delhi is concerned. He is the representative of the union government. You can accuse him of consulting the union government. But to say BJP is involved in this is actually cheap politics being played by Aam Aadmi Party.
I want to go across for a medical perspective to Ambarish Satwik.
Rahul, you have given him enough time. Okay. You have to let me complete
30
my
seconds.
argument. And yeah, so by now opposing what the Lieutenant Governor has stated, Arvind Kejriwal and his own party, they are exposing themselves to politics of parochialism, and in days ahead they will face a huge backlash for this kind of a very narrow perspective. We are concerned about Delhi, we are concerned about the entire country. Right to life is involved here. Right to health, as Supreme Court ordered in many judgments, right to health is a part of Article 21, right to life. I think what you have done will actually be somebody has challenged it in the court. Even the Supreme Court will find it completely untenable.
Dr. Ambarish Satwik, we've heard from the two political partisans. I want to come to you for a dispassionate perspective. Does it make sense in the current situation in the national capital to stop outsiders from coming in because the capacities of Delhi could be overrun, or do you think this is patently wrong?
So, thank you. I don't wish to be drawn into a political conflict, but these are extraordinary times, and I cannot comment on the wisdom of such an executive order, but prima facie, it seems like a violation of the moral principles that guide medical ethics. We shall be asked to discriminate against a certain group of patients who come to us seeking treatment, and that seems like a violation of the moral principles of medical ethics. Unfortunately, this clearly is a political decision. Our healthcare infrastructure has been snowed under. We're under great stress. So, the wisdom of such a decision is not for me to comment on.
So, I want to also for a moment just ask you about the raging fight that you're having, not you personally, but the hospital seems to be having with the Delhi government and private hospitals. Yeah. Now, whether you want to respond just about your hospital or in general, the Delhi government has accused private hospitals of not cooperating, of wanting to use this as an opportunity to make money and of being vultures in crisis. How do you respond to those charges?
Yes, I shall respond to that, but just to also add to how Kafkaesque it's become. So let's say this order is passed, the one that reserves beds for Delhi residents. About a third of my colleagues in Gangaram Hospital live in Gurgaon, Faridabad, Sonipat, Noida, Bahadurgarh. Now, these are people who come to Gangaram Hospital to treat patients and tend to them and care for patients. And in case they're infected with COVID, they will not be able to seek treatment in Gangaram Hospital where they're entitled to treatment. So this is how Kafkaesque this order can turn out to be. But about the action that's taken against Gangaram Hospital, well, it seems to be that an FIR has been lodged because we did not upload data onto an app, the RT-PCR app, where we were supposed to communicate and transmit data regarding COVID testing. But we were filing data regularly and dutifully through what is known as the IDSP portal, the Integrated Disease Surveillance Program portal. And this was being done with absolute regularity. It seems to me that we kept asking for username and password for the app, which was not provided to us, and we are contesting the claim. But as of now, the trouble is that we are not allowed to test for COVID, and we are a designated COVID hospital. I'll tell you how troublesome that is. Just the other day, we had a woman who was delivered by cesarean section in Gangaram Hospital, a COVID positive woman who delivered by cesarean section. Now the infant, the baby, had a condition known as meconium aspiration and required emergency intubation and required shifting to the neonatal ICU. We're trying our best to segregate this baby, but we're not even allowed to collect a sample for COVID testing in such a case. And there's every possibility that this little baby could be positive, and this could be jeopardizing the lives of all other babies in the neonatal ICU. So I urge the Honorable Legislator to please reverse this and restore the COVID testing status of Gangaram Hospital.
Okay, Raghav Chaddha, do you want to respond to this? Because this is something which I heard from one of the other major hotel chains, that they didn't originally get the password and the username, and that wasn't with them, so they couldn't have possibly uploaded when your chief minister was doing press conferences accusing private hospitals of not cooperating. And the second point that Dr. Satwik makes is about how they're a COVID designated hospital, but they can't test. He's accusing you of toying with the lives of young children and patients who are coming to the hospital.
Well, they can't test simply because their ability to test or their legal right to test has been withdrawn because of malpractices and nefarious activities in which the Gangaram Hospital was indulging in. And what has been alleged against the Gangaram Hospital has been, the Delhi police has found merit in it, and the Delhi police has registered an FIR against the Gangaram Hospital simply because there were allegedly malpractices and nefarious activities being undertaken by them.
Like what? You
and
keep saying this, that's a very serious charge without explaining what the charge is.
Well, you can peruse the FIR, just go through the copy of the FIR and you'll find. And the FIR is now registered. It's pending investigation. The Delhi police will conduct an independent investigation and come to a conclusion. It is not for the government to interfere in the investigation of a particular matter.
How smart an idea is it, Raghav Chaddha, in the middle of a crisis?
Let me finish.
Yeah,
let me finish. You gave everyone so much time. Just let me finish. Look, we have said this on a number of occasions, and I reiterate that private hospitals are doing a spectacular job and are working closely with the government in fighting this epidemic. Most government hospitals, however, in some cases, it has been reported that black marketing of beds has taken place, variation in their reporting, some irregularities in the processes have come to the light, and it is the duty of an elected government. Health is a state subject, and therefore the health ministry has every right to initiate action against a particular hospital. That's one. Number two, the Karnataka government, which is run by the Bharatiya Janata Party, last month, in fact, last month, came out with an order in the month of April and said that people coming from Kerala through the Mangalore route will not be permitted to enter into Karnataka for medical treatment, and the hospitals of Karnataka will be reserved for the people of Karnataka. When the BJP, has to make a comment on the government of Delhi, they refer to all sorts of moral issues and moralities. But when it comes to their own BJP-led Karnataka government, they go on a silent mode. Why did the BJP file? Why did the Bharatiya Janata Party go on with this order? That's one.
Let GVL respond to that. Okay, you've spoken.
Before you respond,
you can't monopolize the conversation. You've spoken for 3 minutes now. Come on, be fair, Raghav.
One last thing. Before you go to him, I'm just making one more submission. One sentence. The Lieutenant Governor can only express his dissent with the Chief Minister and refer the matter to the President. The Supreme Court settled this matter. The elected head of the government, that is the Chief Minister, is supreme. And the Cabinet's decision cannot be superseded by the Lieutenant Governor by merely writing 3 paragraphs on his own letterhead. So therefore, I personally feel it is not merely draconian, but also unconstitutional what the Lieutenant Governor has done.
I want to put things in context. One second. Okay, now, Raghav, you've spoken enough. Can I just, one second, time out. I want to show our viewers something. This is the Delhi government app. It's called Delhi Corona. I have it open live in front of my screen right now. Okay. So there are 8,821 COVID beds, out of which 4,487 are occupied, 4,334 are vacant. Now that, if you look at this, would ordinarily mean that there are lots of vacant beds. But let's go deeper and show you why this is the case. It is because most of the government hospitals, for example, the LNJP, the Lok Nayak Jai Prakash Hospital, has 1,100 beds. Then the Guru Tegh Bahadur Hospital has 1,322 vacant beds. Similarly, the Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital has 289 beds. But where is it that there are no beds? There are no beds in the private hospitals. For example, Max Saket has 0 beds. In the same way, Batra Hospital has only 11 empty beds. BL Kapoor, which is another private hospital, has 0 beds. Max Parpadganj has only 1 free bed. Max in Shalimar Bagh has 0 bed. What does that mean? The point I'm making is, it's the government hospitals that have excess capacity. The private hospitals are full up because nobody wants to go to the government hospitals. They want to go to the private hospitals because they trust private healthcare. They don't trust government healthcare as much. And therefore, in the middle of a raging pandemic, Dr. Satwik, for the government to launch a fight and start firing FIRs against hospitals, and I have so many doctor friends who are so riled up and charged, saying that this is totally wrong. The only people who can save our lives, if God forbid it comes to that, are the doctors, and the Delhi government seems to have picked a fight with doctors. Dr. Satwik first.
Yes, I think let it be stated that it's very unfortunate and very infelicitous for the honorable legislator to use words such as nefarious activities, because if not uploading data onto an app qualifies as a nefarious activity when we've been dutifully submitting the same data to a government portal very religiously and very dutifully, I think it's most unfortunate and regrettable. And I think, the other thing that also needs to be noted is that, it's even the app that shows the availability of the beds. This is not exactly like buying a ticket, an air ticket, online, because you click on it and you get the ticket. What happens is that, let's say it's showing 10 beds vacant in a particular hospital, but you have no idea how many people are tracking these beds. It's entirely possible that about 100 people might be tracking these 10 beds, and they all reach the hospital at more or less the same time. So there will be a triage that will be conducted, and there will be a prioritization of who gets the bed and who doesn't. And there will be a lot of people who regrettably will be disappointed and will have to be turned away. So I think the idea that doctors are vile, degenerate creatures who are completely inhumane and completely lacking in compassion and
Rahul,
are
you've not
turning
given
away
me a chance.
patients who are dying at their doorstep, I think is a very
Rahul, I need to
unfortunate
respond to
narrative.
this, please.
Okay, no. So
Rahul,
let's get GVL
please let
Narsimha
me-
Rao to come in first, because you've accused the
me
BJP of being duplicitous. And
Well, let
it
me
really
please
pains
respond
me
to
to
the
have a
doctor.
doctor who's a professional doctor get into a political fight, but that's just the reality of the situation that we're dealing with. First, GVL Narsimha Rao comes in, and then we'll go back to Raghav. GVL.
No, you see, first of all, it's very silly for the Aam Aadmi Party to equate Delhi with any other state. Always you must consider, you must know, you must remind yourself, Delhi is not a state. It's not a full-fledged state. It's a union territory where Lieutenant Governor has substantial powers over a governor of any regular state. Okay, so therefore comparison is completely insidious and it's immaturish. And Lieutenant Governor is the disaster manager in every state. In Karnataka, in Uttar Pradesh, every state, chairman of a disaster management authority is the chief minister himself. Here, Lieutenant Governor is the chairman of the disaster management authority. So the cabinet, the chief minister, the state government are completely subservient to the Lieutenant Governor as far as all matters concerning Corona episode or Corona pandemic are concerned. And without taking the permission of the LG, if orders have been issued, they have to regret themselves. And if they want to go to a court of law, they're most welcome to do so.
Let's just take our viewers through what GVL is saying. In the court of law, and I have three judgments here. In the state of Punjab versus Mohinder Singh Chawla in 1997, the Supreme Court recognized the right to health as an integral right to life. The government has constitutional obligation to provide healthcare facilities. In Ashwini Kumar versus the Union of India in 2019, the court emphasized that the state is obligated to ensure these fundamental rights are not only protected and are enforced and are made available to every citizen. And Navtej Singh Johar versus the Union of India as well, in recognizing the right to health and access to medical care, demonstrates the critical distinction between negative and positive obligations. It's the moment you go to court, Raghav Chaddha, you're very weak in law, which would lead people to suggest that the Aam Aadmi Party is guilty of dereliction of duty, because you know that capacity will be overrun soon. You want to make it seem as if it's the BJP's fault, it's the central government's fault. You wanted to provide beds, but now kya kare? LG ka order hai ji.
Now please let me respond to this. First of all, the Supreme Court had only held that giving healthcare to and treatment to a particular patient is part of right to life, and that is a fundamental right. I agree, that's a fundamental right. But in times of pandemic, in times of emergency, these rights can be curtailed and have been curtailed. You saw how our right to transport and move from one state to another was curtailed. Under Article 19, you have a right to move freely in this country. Your right to movement, freely moving in this country, was curtailed. Article 19 was curtailed when the lockdown was imposed. You could not go from Delhi to Gurgaon. You could not go from Delhi to Punjab. Let me finish. Second. Therefore, let me just finish.
Delhi government does not have the authority.
At least have some semblance of an impartial
to take matters into its own hands.
Let me please finish.
Under the disaster management.
Okay, one second. I don't want both people speaking at the same time.
You only
the government.
No, one second. I don't want both people speaking at the same time. GVL, give him 20 seconds.
You cannot usurp the authority to yourself.
GVL, give him 20 seconds to complete, and then we'll come back to it.
Let's have an impartial debate. Let me just,
I take objection to that, because you've spoken more than everyone else has, Raghav Chaddha. So don't pass pot shots, okay? That's totally unfair. You've spoken more than both of these guests spoken.
Let me at least respond to those allegations. First of all, when your Article 19 can be suspended because a countrywide lockdown is imposed, so can this differentiation be made, a distinction be done for at least a few months, simply because we were asked to prepare our health infrastructure in consonance with the population of Delhi and the infection rate in Delhi. That's point number one. Point number two, regarding the mobile application. Look, our mobile application may have several problems and there could be lacunas in its performance. But this is a one-of-a-kind initiative, the only state government in the country to do it, where you, sitting at your house at the click of a button on a smartphone, will be able to decide which hospital you need to go to. And therefore, while you see
that a lady who was pregnant with an 8-month-old baby died in Ghaziabad because she could not find a hospital, and how a man for 30 hours waited outside a hospital in Lucknow and had to die because no oxygen facility was given to him.
So last 20 seconds, GVL Narsimha Rao, final words. When you impose the national
pending investigation, let the police conduct an independent investigation and come to a conclusion.
Let me ask the question that you have posed.
Why are we saying we are innocent or holier than thou?
Under the National Disaster Management Authority, under National Disaster Management Authority, certain special powers are vested in the government of India. Government of Delhi, which is nothing but actually a union territory elected assembly government.
Well,
they do not have the power.
Okay, now let him speak, Raghav Chaddha. Don't come in now, please.
Bring to his notice the Supreme Court
fundamental
judgment.
Rights. Delhi Assembly does not have the rights to decide on matters of fundamental rights, and they have no authority to decide on NDMA. If such a decision were to be made, it has to be made at the level of the national government. Let Arvind Kejriwal not imagine all the powers for himself. Let him work within the framework.
Okay, I'm out of time on this
the
debate.
Chief Minister has put out a statement.
No, it is the LG who is the chairman of Disaster Management Authority in Delhi.
He says whatever the Lieutenant Governor has decided, we will abide by it.
Have that final
we
authority.
Will try to, maybe God wants us to serve the entire country. We will do that. We will abide by the instruction of the Lieutenant Governor. This is what the Chief Minister has said. He's a statesman. He's not doing politics in this pandemic. But it also must be pointed out that BJP, while it does this in Karnataka,
if anything, you should only thank the Lieutenant Governor
Delhi, it is not
for
fine.
having corrected your blunder.
Why did you do this in Karnataka then?
For correcting
Why
your
did
blunder?
BJP do this in Karnataka?
And thank
Why
your
did
staff.
the Karnataka government pass a law saying people from Kerala cannot come to Karnataka for treatment?
There is anyone can challenge it. There is absolutely no such. There was a restriction on state-to-state movement, and that restriction existed in every state. It is not just Karnataka.
Why did Yedurappa pass
even Delhi did not have free movement to Gurgaon and to UP. So I think first you must understand that every government works within the limits of its authority, and you have overstepped your limits.
You go
and
read the Supreme Court judgment, GVL.
Even overreached
you
the
are a member of the Rajya Sabha now. At least do some reading. Read the Supreme Court judgment and try and figure out.
I don't need to. You can challenge it if you like.
Just go and read the judgment.
Is the supreme
it's
authority.
As simple as that. I'll WhatsApp you the 500
because he's the chairman of the State Disaster Management Authority. I think it's common sense. I
will immediately WhatsApp you the Supreme Court judgment.
Is Arvind Kejriwal the chairman of the Delhi Management Authority?
Okay, so I'm out of time on this debate. This tutu meme can go on. But as people who are watching, the takeaway really is you've got the state and you've got the state government passing orders being quashed by the Lieutenant Governor, and we're really Ram Bharose, as it were, because this is the worst time for netas at the state and the centre to be fighting. This is when the real enemy is the virus. Is the Aam Aadmi Party just trying to save its skin by saying we passed this order which we knew the court would turn down, but at least it made it seem to our voters that we tried to do something? Or is the Lieutenant Governor out of line? We'll only know when this goes to a court, but the reality is till then it could be too late, because there's already a big fight and it seems as if the capital is descending into chaos, which is terribly, terribly unfortunate. Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kanwal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.